Another method that is going to come up, and this comes up with convertible securities. This comes up with convertible securities. So the methodology for convertible securities is the if converted method. I mean, this is pretty easy, right? This assumes that if we have issuable outstanding convertible contracts, right? So if we have outstanding convertible contracts, and those can be convertible debt, convertible preferred, whatever. Those are going to be the two big ones that you're going to see. The if converted method assumes, right, if we have outstanding convertible contracts, the assumption is that the conversion happens at the beginning of the period. And if conversion happens at the beginning of the period, and say I had a debt instrument, two things are happening. Okay? If the conversion happened at the beginning of the period, then clearly new shares were issued. Based on the most advantageous price to the security holder, right? However that conversion works. So new shares are issued. So this is going to be a denominator effect. Right? That's right. We go back to our basic earnings per share calculation, right? New shares are issued, weighted average shares go up because the assumption is that they've been outstanding the entire year. What else? Well, if the debt instrument was converted at the beginning of the year, then there was no opportunity to pay interest to the debt holders. So interest expense, it's still on the financial statements, but this is just a calculation. Interest expense is assumed away. Didn't happen. Okay? This is a numerator effect. That's a numerator effect. So I've got two things happening. I have a denominator effect and I have a numerator effect, because guess what's going to happen here? Net income is going to change because I don't have interest expense. Interest expense goes away. And net income changes not only by the amount of interest expense, but it also changes, it's also net of tax. That's how much net income changes. So we have a denominator effect and a numerator effect, and we're going to take a look at this. The effect of net of tax, the numerator, and the effect of the denominator, and we're going to compare that to our basic earnings per share. If it looks like it's going to dilute basic earnings per share, then this will go in the calculation. If it doesn't, if it looks like it would make basic earnings per share be higher on a dilutive perspective, this doesn't go into the calculation. Remember, we're looking for the most dilutive situation where exercising options and warrants and converting things and all this stuff going on, we're trying to get what would be the worst case scenario of earnings per share for the current common shareholders. So what if we had a preferred stock, a convertible preferred? Two things are going to happen, right? We know that new shares are going to be issued, right? Denominator. And what else is going to happen? Well, if I pay dividends, right? And that's an assumption. And we'll make that assumption for the moment. If we had dividends to the preferred shareholders, those are assumed away. Or didn't happen. That is a numerator effect. Right, so we go back to our basic earnings per share, right? Net income is going to say, right, preferred dividends aren't tax affected, right? So we're going to have net income, the preferred dividends go away. And now we just have net income, and then we add whatever our conversion is, given the best market price for, and whatever the contract calls for the security holder, then my weighted average shares will go up.